Ooh, there's a chill in the air. The temperature dropped, the humidity dropped. There's Halloween decorations outside. It's fall, which means Islay Scotch time outside. I got 5 peated Isleys today that are going to keep you warm during those evening fall drams. But first, what characteristics of Islay Scotches work the best for fall? Well, for me, I think it's a mix of higher ABVs or PPMs that bring in some of that warmth and smoke and let you sit outside and get those long finishes and kind of get that like fire in your belly. All right, first up, Lagavulin 16. It's been a while since I've had Lagavulin 16, but I'll tell you what, this is a very rich Islay. 35 ppms, 43% alcohol, matured in ex-bourbon casks, but finished in sherry casks. Now, if you're anything like Ron Swanson, you probably love this whiskey. Me, I enjoy it. I think it's more of a richer Laphroaig malt. You get all that smoke, all that meat, all that brine, and the iodine as well that Laphroaig's famous for. But you get a lot of that extra sweet character that Laphroaig 10 doesn't have, because Laphroaig 10 is just ex-bourbon cask. But the sherry finish on the Lagavulin really sits well. And as a first one to this list, you're going to be sitting outside. This is going to be a heavy peat bomb. It's 35 ppms, but it doesn't drink that way. It drinks a bit more than that, in my opinion. I think it definitely hits harder than maybe some of the ones later in this list, like even Laphroaig 10. And it's not an entry-level whiskey by any means. It's a 16-year peated Islay, but you can get it for about $100, probably less. I checked my store and I saw it for $100. I would not pay over that for that. I don't think it's worth more than that. I also saw another site had it for like $105. So if you get it for like 90 to $100, definitely grab it. But I tell you what, this is going to be a really nice evening dram. Sitting outside when it's evening, maybe watching football or something like that. And that finish is going to be very long and make you want more and more. So it's a great dram, Lagavulin 16. All right, second whiskey. Bruichladdich Port Charlotte 10 years. I tell you, I love Bruichladdich, great distillery. This one is 50% alcohol, matured with first and second fill American whiskey and French wine cask. It's 40 ppms. You can get it for about $70 to $80, and I think it's a great price point. I love Port Charlotte. Seriously, it is one of the whiskeys that got me super into Bruichladdich and made me try and get into the Octomore series, which we'll get into later in this video. If you haven't noticed, the ppm level is going to be going up as we get through this list. So, Port Charlotte. It's 50% alcohol, so that extra 7%, if you compare it to the Lagavulin, it is so much better to warm you up in those fall days. It is such a more powerful dram, and it's only 5 ppms more, but as with all Bruichladdich malts, they are phenomenal. So you're not just getting the smoke with these, you're not just getting the brine, you're getting a lot of citrus, oaky fruit notes in here, and it is a very complex, really well-balanced dram. Port Charlotte has a lot of offerings, so if you like the 10, go look up the other ones, see which ones like tickle your fancy. I think the finish is one of the longest lasting finishes I've had to date on any whiskey. It's just something about it. It's only 40 ppms, but man, it drinks almost like an Octomore. The Octomore's malts are so much more elegant, I would say, and they, even though they're like 130 ppms or so, they feel like they don't quite hit as hard. Port Charlotte is this meaty smoke, fruity dark bomb, and the finish is phenomenal. I love that bottle. That's whiskey number 2, Port Charlotte 10. All right, next up, Laphroaig 10. 40% alcohol, around 40 to 50 ppms. Just one of the most standard names when it comes to Isleys. You can get it for around $45 to $50. That is a great price point. What can you say about Laphroaig 10? It's awesome. It's 10 years in ex-bourbon barrels. It's a little lower on the ABV at 40%, but man, Laphroaig is so well known for their malts. They are a little iodine-y, maybe a little vinegar mash, but those really meaty, smoky notes really carry it through. The finish on Laphroaig 10 isn't as long as I would hope it to be. It's definitely shorter than Lagavulin 16 and Port Charlotte, but it's $45 to $50. If you want to get a nice, cheaper peated Islay to get for those fall days, get this one. It is not going to disappoint you. If you haven't had Laphroaig 10, you're watching an Islay whiskey video, go get it right now. Come on now, what are you doing? One of the biggest names in Islay, and I have to go out and get another bottle because mine's gone, and I always want to have Laphroaig 10 on my shelf. It's so good. It's just the standard Islay. Laphroaig 10, number 3. Okay, number 4, Kilchoman Sonic. 46% alcohol, 50 ppms, around $70. This is a great dram. If you watch me for a while, you'll know I love Kilchoman. They make incredible whiskeys, and Sonic is no different, seriously. This is a whiskey that is majority finished in Oloroso sherry with a little bit of ex-bourbon, and that sherry influence really carries the rest of this whiskey. And what's weird about it is, in a good way, I get a lot of brine out of this particular whiskey. I get more sweetness from the Machier Bay, which is why I picked the Sonic. I like a nice smoky brine when it comes to trying to like drink on a nice chilly evening. So with this one, you're getting all of the Kilchoman smoke, and at 50 ppms, actually is very, very nice. I love their malts. Their malts are peated really, really well, in my opinion. A lot of fruit in there. A lot of that sweetness kicks in as well. The Kilchoman malts aren't as meaty as I would say Ardbeg or Laphroaig would be. So if you're not into the meat, go grab a Kilchoman. They might not hit you quite as hard as say a Lagavulin 16 or even an Ardbeg 10. But this no age statement sherry finished whiskey is very, very good. And I actually haven't had a bottle of it in a while. I need to go get another one. And at $70, it's not much more expensive than Laphroaig 10. And personally, I think I would drink this one over Laphroaig 10. I know I said I want to have one on my shelf all the time, but if I'm going to pick one of the two, I'm going to pick Sonic. The sherry cask is very good, and I don't want to pay the extra like $45 to get the sherry finished Laphroaig 10 anyway, but this one's already $70. So I think this one, number 4, is a great whiskey. Kilchoman Sonic. All right, last up, the biggest peep I might have, Octomore 13.1. 137.3 ppms, 59.2% alcohol. Coming at a whopping $240, but I tell you what, if you like Octomore, you're going to love this bottle. Funnily enough, the only bottle of this list I actually do have on hand, Octomore 13.1. Oh my god, what can you say about Octomore? 13.1, 0.2, and 0.3 are all 5 years old, but I tell you what, they drink so much more mature than this. This is the youngest of the list, and I tell you, it is the most complex. Bruichladdich malts are just next level when it comes to this stuff. And 137 ppms, it's almost 3 times as peaty as Kilchoman Sonic. I mean, this is fantastic. You're going to get a lot of the smoke and peat on the nose more than you will on the palate. But that's not to say it's still not peaty. It is going to warm you up, especially at 60% cask strength. This is going to warm you up incredibly well out on that screened-in porch or out on the deck, whatever you're doing in the fall. And I will also say, this flavor profile is phenomenal. Honey, lemon zest, red fruits, oak spice, a little bit of brine, definitely the smoke. Just a phenomenally well orchestrated flavor profile when it comes to peated Islas. Bruichladdich, in my opinion, is one of the best Isla distilleries, and this absolutely sets the bar. It is very expensive. If you like Islas, you like Octomore, go find a 13.1. It might be less now because the 14s are out. I want to get my hands on a 14.3, but this is going to be an incredibly long finished, a great sipper, a slow sipper as well. You won't be able to go through this really fast because it's 60% alcohol and it's very, very peaty. I love it. Hope you guys do as well. Like these videos, let me know. Let me comment down below. What are your 5 favorite Islas to have during the fall, or just in general? I'm super curious. I love talking to you guys when it comes to the comments. Like this video, please give it a like. Not subscribed yet, consider doing so, and I'll see you guys next time.